Hey guys, so the question is, what does it mean to be a noble gas? To answer this question, we need to first start by looking at the periodic table. Now, if we remember that the vertical columns are the groups, we're going to move across all the groups to the furthest right group on the periodic table. These are the group 18 elements, also known as the noble gases. So we're going to learn a little bit more about the noble gases. So we're going to have a look at the electron configuration of noble gases, and in order for you to understand electron configuration, you need to know about shell diagrams and how they are arranged and how electrons fill shell diagrams. So there is another video on the channel for this. And so one of the noble gases is called Argon, the third noble gas from the top. And Argon has 18 electrons, and this is an electron shell diagram of Argon here. So we can see in the first shell there's 2 electrons, and in the second shell we've got 8 electrons, 8 being the magic number for the number of electrons in a shell. And in the third shell we have 8 more electrons for a total of 18 electrons. Now Argon is a noble element, like I said before, and it has the maximum number of electrons in all the shells. In this case, there's 2 in the first shell, 8 in the second shell, and 8 in the third shell. So all the shells are filled. So Argon, being a noble element, has a full outer or valence shell. Right. So there's 18 electrons in Argon, which therefore has a full third shell with 8 electrons. Another example of a noble gas, noble element, is neon, which has 10 electrons and a full second shell with 8 electrons. Another example of a noble element is helium, which has 2 electrons, or a full first shell, with 2 electrons filling it. Now, because all the valence shells are full, the noble gases are actually very stable. Now, how is this? Now, all noble gases with their full outer shells are very stable and thus unreactive and do not participate in chemical reactions, because the elements themselves don't need to take in electrons or give away electrons in order to complete their outer shells. And that's why they are very unreactive and very stable. So, in summary, noble gases are all the elements in group 18, which is the furthest right column on the periodic table. They all have full valence shells, so the outer shells of the atoms are completely filled with electrons. And because of those full valence shells, they do not need to take or give electrons, and therefore are very stable. So that's it about noble elements. Thanks for watching.